projected as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, with a growth rate of 6.8% in 2019, and has been declared as Africa's new bright spot after being ranked 4th in the world and 1st in Africa in the 2019 Global Retail Development Index. As the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Ghana is creating the linkages that will make it the gateway to Africa, aided by dynamic policies, a stable political environment, and strong economic fundamentals. It is a land of opportunities, offering businesses across many sectors the potential to flourish. The country is open and accessible to investors and the private sector, providing a peaceful environment and upholding the rule of law. The government of Ghana is confident and optimistic about the positive results in its investment drive through the GIPC.
Optimistic about itself, but I am also optimistic about Ghana. My institute is proud to have a partnership with the government of Ghana. We work with governments to try and help deliver change and reform across the continent of Africa. And I really want to begin by paying a word of tribute to the President himself. I've scarcely come across a leader with such clarity of vision, such determination to succeed, and someone so much in tune with the instincts of his people. So thank you for your leadership, sir. It's hugely welcome. One of the things that the President has said, not just within his country but outside its borders as well, is this concept of Ghana beyond aid, because even though Ghana is happy and proud of the partnerships that it has, it realizes in the end that it's Ghanaians who will decide their own future and by their own efforts. And so the changes that have been made in the country, which are producing strong economic growth, one of the strongest growing economies in Africa and indeed the world, which has seen remarkable macroeconomic adjustments and that great, is Ken here, the finance minister? Where is he, Ken? Yeah. $3 billion bond, that's pretty good going. Yeah, so well done to you. But when I talk to people in different parts of the world, there is a sense that the country is on the move and people want to be part of that story. And when you create that sort of confidence in a country, it has a reinforcing effect. So I think the other thing I would say is that there's still so much potential there to be developed in the tourism sector, in agriculture, in mining. But the important thing, and I say this all the time to outside investors, is that there's a government that's willing and able and anxious to get that investment into the country. The other thing is young Ghanaians are immensely good people to be around. The technology sector is now beginning to take off and thrive in Accra and elsewhere in Ghana, which is really, really important. And I think it was an amazing thing to do this year of return, which I think around was it 750,000 or thereabouts of people that actually came back through. And I'm delighted to see so many distinguished Ghanaians from the diaspora here as well here tonight, many of whom I know. And we're immensely proud, by the way, of the contribution they make, particularly to Britain. So I am an optimist, but I'm an optimist for good reason. I mean, I'm naturally optimistic. You'd have to be if you were handling the British media for 10 years. But I'm actually optimistic about Ghana for good reasons. I think there is a stability, a real sense of opportunity about the country today. And I think if that stability and the current policies are able to be continued, then I think the future is very, very bright indeed. And, you know, one of the things that's very thrilling and exciting sometimes when you step out of office, and always when you're in government, you're beset by problems and events and crises, and it's difficult sometimes to take a step back and look objectively at your country. And one of the things you can do once you leave office, you are able to take a somewhat more detached view when you go and visit other countries and you see them from the outside perspective. And when I look at the continent of Africa as a whole, even though, you know, the challenges and problems are still formidable, I think there is a real sense that the coming couple of decades are going to be the decades for Africa. I think it's an obvious thing. It's going to be home to some of the world's youngest population. Everywhere I look, pretty much, not absolutely everywhere, but most places I look, and certainly the countries I work in, I can see governance getting better. I can see leaders that are anxious to look forward and not back. And I see a people anxious to succeed. And these are great things to have. And sometimes when you come from the tired old West, where we sometimes find it a little difficult to discover excitement about our present and our future, you come to Africa and you feel that thrill of excitement that there are indeed limitless possibilities. And I know Ghana is going to be a big part of that story.
First of all, let me thank you, each and every one of you, for coming to join us this evening, the Ghana dinner in Davos. It's my first occasion at these Davos meetings, and I'm really, really happy that it is one of the evenings has ended up with this Ghana evening. I think you know a little bit about us. We were the first colonial country south of the Sahara to become free and independent, and we did so some 63 years ago in 1957. And that has always defined our destiny, because it has meant that we had obligatorily to get involved in the liberation of Africa. We couldn't be free and the rest of Africa in bondage. So our first leader made the historic pronouncement that the freedom of Ghana would be meaningless unless it was linked up with the total liberation of Africa. And that has been Ghana's role in Africa ever since then until now. We had some checkered periods after independence. I think it's normal. Anybody beginning to walk, you get out, fall down, get out, fall down. But finally, after periods, military dictatorships and various ill-fated republics, we have settled down in this Fourth Republic as the most stable period in our country's history. Fourth Republic came into being in 1993, and in that period, we've had several elections, I think 7. We've been able to organize the transfer of power on 3 occasions through the ballot box. So I think Ghana as a democracy, as a functioning democracy, is now well established. And it's extremely important that we continue that trend. People are free to engage in political activity. The rules matter. The rights of people matter. Individual liberties matter. Human rights matter. The rule of law matters. A system where you have independent judges who decide the law, not presidents and politicians. That's the system that we're trying to build in Ghana. And in doing so, too, we believe that a strong market economy is the way forward for our country. A strong market economy with strong companies and enterprises, the ones that will deliver the prosperity that we're looking for. And so doing, too. We're not insular. Not only are we Pan-African in outlook, but as far as the rest of the world is concerned, too, we're making friends with those who want to be friends with us. was reaching out and making friendships across the globe. And that freedom to defend, to befriend who we want is a very important matter for Ghanaians. Nobody can tell us who to be friendly with or not to be friendly with. We will make that decision ourselves. You have all the statistics. You've been told about all the things, the good things that are happening in the management of the economy. But the one thing that matters most to me are the people of Ghana, who are a good people, a welcoming people, hospitable people, a kind and generous people. And those are the people that you'll be coming to deal with when you decide to make your decision to come and work in our country. You'll be made to feel welcome from the first day that you arrive. And there are opportunities, all of them have been told to you. But the human capital, the people who are there, are our biggest asset. They are ready also to partner with you to build our country. I belong to the generation that believes very strongly that this 21st century is going to be the African century. And it is going to be so, God willing, with Ghana in front. Thank you, and may God bless you all.